Today, we get scared and we learn things at the exact same time.
Mythical replay.
Let's talk about that. Good mythical internet. Now, I'm a not real big fan when it comes to scary videos, scary anything. But Sebastian22 or Sebastian ANG is apparently making all sorts of videos about facts, scary stuff, facts, and more facts. So today we're going to take a look at these videos. Basically, we just react to videos. We try things. This is what GME is about. Let's go.
Video add info button. Add info. Skip ad. Skip.
Kevin Hart might have died in 2019 and replaced by a clone.
What?
So in 2019, he got into a car crash when he was in the car with two friends. He had this very nice muscle car and it flipped over and the top half was completely crushed. He said, "It's a resurrection. That's the best way for me to put it. I feel like the other version of myself died in that moment, and this new version was born to understand and to do better." If that clip's not enough, there's also another clip where he literally says he's a clone. And many people believe him to be joking in this clip. But let's be honest, if you were told not to talk about something by higher up people, and you wanted to talk to somebody about it, you would definitely do it in a joking manner, so you wouldn't raise any suspicion.
How you do it? I have a clone.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. There's two of you. Cat's out the bag. Okay? It's about a good three of me. We broke it. They didn't want to release it yet. This is major news that I'm giving you. All right. I'm the first person to ever use it. I'm cloned. I'm cloned.
Now this is all a theory, but what do you think?
I think it's a joke.
Others have said after this crash, he has not been the same at any of his stand-up shows either. These are creepy facts about you that are absolutely disturbing. Part 1. Up first, you breathe in dead skin every single day of your life.
Wow.
This is because the dust in your house is actually 50% dead skin, which is from yourself and family. So next time you're around your house and you see dust, just know that's 50%
That's
dead
actually
skin. Next up, your eyeballs
crazy.
are a part of your brain.
Like,
your
really
eyeballs
crazy.
are so close and connected to the brain that they're considered a part of the brain. This is absolutely mind-blowing, and I never knew this. Finally, death of an old age is not a real thing at all. You can't die of old age, only by the diseases brought on by old age.
Wow.
These are creepy dreams and what they mean. Part 1.
Is that
Up
how
first, if you ever have a dream where you're abandoned
someone
on a
lives to
desert
be like
island,
100
it means that an experience in your life made you feel
18 or
abandoned, and you
19?
fear it's going to repeat. Next up, if you're having a dream where you're watching yourself sleep, it means that you feel the need to protect yourself from future events. So all in all, your dream self is just looking out for you. Finally, if you're having a dream of being at a funeral of one of your loved ones, it means that you have a very big fear of losing them. And your
I kinda
body is
do,
just
but I never
preparing
had
you
that
for
dream
when
yet.
it actually happens. These are apex predators through the ages, part 1. Up first is Mosasaurus. They dominated the oceans from 82 to 66 million years ago. And they could grow up to 17 meters in length, which, if you don't know, is 55 feet long.
That's pretty big.
I'm just happy I wasn't in the ocean when this thing was around. Next up is Titanoboa. And if you hate
I've heard of
snakes,
those.
you're gonna hate Titanoboa. After the extinction of dinosaurs, another huge reptile gained foothold, which was Titanoboa. Growing up to 45 feet long, Titanoboa was the largest snake that ever lived. And what do you think you're gonna do if this thing just starts slithering at you full speed? Next up are terror birds. I feel like this is a creature not many people heard of, and these were birds who were flightless and carnivores.
Wow.
And they had curved beaks designed for tearing flesh. They existed for 60 million years and went extinct 1.8 million years ago. This is definitely one of the most dangerous birds to ever live on Earth. Finally is Andrewsarchus. Based on the size of its skull, Andrewsarchus is believed to have been the largest terrestrial mammal carnivore on Earth. They lived 41 million years ago and are actually closer related to whales than wolves. It's crazy how many creatures came and gone on this planet that we call home.
These are the creepiest things ever seen in space, part 1. Up first, Chinese astronaut Yang Liwei was alone in space when something very disturbing happened to him. He was just sitting there enjoying his own company when he suddenly heard a knock on the door. Keep in mind, he's the only one up there and it's space. Wow. This is extremely disturbing because it could only be one of two things. One being space debris and the other being aliens. Next up are giant human faces on Mars. Pareidolia is imagining faces and patterns. But let's be honest, these look exactly like faces.
Yeah!
Many people speculate that these are statues from a civilization that was on Mars but ultimately got wiped out. But what do you think? Next up is the Jack-o'-lantern sun. For Halloween, NASA posted a real photo of our sun with a giant menacing smile. This is very terrifying, and imagine this was actually our sun's face.
That would be crazy.
This is how many people die every single year from doing these different things, part 1. Up first is swimming. About 236,000 people die every single year from just swimming. And to unlock a new fear, in 2002, a girl got stuck in a pool drain and drowned. Next up is choking on food. About 160,000 people die every year from choking on food. So make sure whenever you're eating food, chew it fully. Finally is having sex. About 50,000 people die every single year while having sex. It's usually caused from a sudden cardiac arrest, but I would imagine there's way worse ways to go. These are creepy facts about you, part 2.
I mean,
First, your belly button is an ecosystem. There are at least 2,300 distinct different species of bacteria living in your belly button. So next time you're in the shower, make sure to wash your belly button because I know you definitely forget. Next up, did you know spicy food literally tastes like a burn? When tasting spiciness, the tongue is actually tricked, and your brain senses temperature. So that spicy feeling you feel whenever you eat spicy food, that's actually just your mouth burning. Finally, your brain can live without a body.
I just
the
ate
human
spicy
head can stay
food
conscious
before
up to
doing
20
this.
seconds after being decapitated. Just imagine being decapitated and your head is just laying on the ground, and you could still hear, see, and think. That's what you call a living nightmare. These are facts that will 100% make you sad, part 2. Up first, to provide all the footballs for one NFL season, it requires the hides of over 3,000 cows.
Plus on the ground
meaning the
beef we
NFL
eat.
slaughters thousands of cows every single year for footballs. Next up, there are still millions of slaves today. There's actually more people in slavery today than there were in the 17 and 1800s. This is absolutely insane, and try to wrap your head around that for a second. Next up, there's one suicide in the world every 40 seconds. That means it is very likely that somebody tried to take their own life in the time that you are watching this video.
Oh my god.
And the silver main guards are Bellabog's indestructible shield.
These are active serial killers who haven't been caught yet, part 1.
Up first is the I-70 killer. The I-70 killer is an unidentified American man who killed 6 store clerks across the Midwest in 1992. Victims were typically young women who were petite and brunette. The one male victim had long brown hair, which he often wore in a ponytail. So it is theorized that this killer mistook him for a woman from a distance. Also, the I-70 killer is suspected to be behind 2 more murders in 1993, an attempted murder in 1994, and 1 more in 2001. His only surviving victim is 35-year-old Vicky Webb. She briefly talked to him before he shot her, but he just left her there for dead, and the bullet didn't properly penetrate her, and she survived. Next up is the Long Island serial killer, also known as the Craigslist Ripper. This person is believed to be active from 1996 to 2010. Authorities came to this conclusion after 10 bodies were found on the Long Island coast between 2010 and 2011.
What?
There are 8 other potential victims, some of whom have never been identified. Most of the victims were known to sell adult services on Craigslist. And several people have been suspected of being the Long Island serial killer. Like this man, John Bitrolf. He has been charged with 2 confirmed murders, but is suspected for another 15 to 20.
I'm sorry,
making
what?
him the #1 suspect of being the Long Island serial killer.
This is the scariest song in the world, and here's why. Okay, so we all heard this song before, especially if you're into scary things and watch the Insidious movies. But do you know the very disturbing and chilling backstory behind this song?
No.
Well, the song is called Tiptoe Through the Tulips, and it was recorded and released in 1968.
by American singer Tiny Tim. And when the song was first released, it didn't have the scary reputation it has now. However, this would change during his last ever live performance of the song. On September 28th, 1996, Tiny Tim suffered a heart attack
That's the day
that
this
was pretty
being
miniature while
filmed.
performing at a music festival. And after this happened, his doctors advised him that he wasn't healthy enough to perform on stage anymore. However, Tiny Tim ignored the advice from his doctors and scheduled another concert at a women's club in Minnesota the next month. But right before his performance, he told his wife that he wasn't feeling that good. Nevertheless, Tiny Tim decided to go on stage anyway. And after performing the last song of the night, he suffered a major heart attack on stage and died in front of the crowd. And the song he was performing was Tiptoe Through the Tulips. This song was already terrifying, but it's 100 times more terrifying after knowing this. Now listen to it again after knowing this.
Wow. Just kidding. This wasn't filmed on that day. Just wanted to scare you guys even more. Anyway, that is it for today's GME crazy episode.
More next track one full X good myth show good mythic.
If you enjoyed this, tune in later where we discuss how to give yourself a nightmare. Even if it's only seems like a nightmare. Peace out.